editing is already very long and tumultuous. No, arduous.
Arduous.
That's a word.
Arduous. There. Yeah.
I mean, if you think editing in this is arduous, imagine doing that for, was it 16 talks that we had last year that I had to individually edit?
If you need any practice, James, just in case you're a bit rusty after last year, Anna's always keen for some help.
Yeah, it was certainly a process last year. I mean, we had 2 recordings for all of the talks, and so the version that we wanted to go live with, we had a bunch of feedback, and people were like, we could do better than this. And then we ended up last minute completely switching how we wanted to upload them all, so we had to re-edit, re-upload every single video.
I remember because there was a survey, wasn't it, on Twitter? Do you like this format better or that format more?
We knew the answer. I think deep down, I was just hoping people were going to be like, yeah, the other ones are fine. You don't have to do a week of work. It's like, yeah, I think we knew what we
don't ask questions that you don't want to know the answer to. That's the moral of that story.
Wise words.
I think the big theme is we're always pushing to get a higher quality, so I'm happy we did what we did.
Before we get deeper into the technical, this is the warm-up, the introduction, and I feel really bad because we haven't come up with any quotes or any catchy beginnings.
ChatGPT does the end, right? Not the beginning.
Yeah, that's the thing. ChatGPT does the end, and then sometimes, one time we try to do the beginning, which is the episode before this one. A few episodes before this, where we try to come up with a little intro, and it didn't work because I said, "Welcome to Swift Lounge, where dreams are made," but it sounded like I said, "Welcome to Swift Lounge, where the dreams of me," and Ollie was appalled and worried.
I've seen that clip. I was just dying. It's just like, yeah, Anna, arrogant. That's exactly the words I'd be using.
Okay, so to be safe, let's just welcome our dear listeners, and most importantly, welcome James, our host.
Hello.
Not our host, our guest. We are the host again.
So hang on. I didn't realise new roles and responsibilities over here. I'm running the show now.
Well, enjoy, James. I'm off.
You're always running the show behind the scenes.
So it's oh god, what was I going to say? Brain. Sorry, folks. Today, this morning, since it's 8 a.m., as we know this very well.
Just looking outside. I think the sun's definitely going up still.
Yeah, it was really funny because we were trying to also pretend that we were recording in the morning with Adam's episode, and then you see the lights gradually getting darker and darker every few minutes. So
he was on the other side of the world. He was in Indonesia.
The folks that listen to this and not watch it on YouTube are missing out on so many opportunities to realise that we're lying to them constantly.
With good heart. It's the editing. We need to edit. We need to create a coherent story. So according to our story, we are now recording this at 8 a.m. in the morning, even though it's more like end of the day on Friday. But yeah, welcome James Sherlock, the technical production lead of SwiftLeeds. That's a cool title.
Indeed the title that I gave myself.
What title should we get, Ollie? We need a title ourselves.
Chief of Shenanigans?
I was about to say that. I was about to say the exact same thing. Oh my god. Yeah. Chief of Shenanigans.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, Chief
Are
of Chaos.
Our badges already printed, James?
No, actually, they're not. We do that really last minute, because people can buy tickets last minute. We have done the test prints. I think you've seen those.
Yeah, we have.
So. We have seen some.
They're really cool.
Have you had your badges customised? I know, Anna, you have.
I'm not aware that I have, but we will...
Wow. See who follows us on Twitter now, eh? And I will refer to it as Twitter. Sorry.
But yeah, so James, what's a technical production lead?
It's very much a made-up role. I think it's important to say that all of the volunteers, I think we have like 12 volunteers at this point, we all kind of float around, we all do everything and anything that's needed, both before and on the day. More specifically though for me, it's like Adam knows that I kind of have an interest in kind of all of this stage and all the technical stuff in the theatre, and that's just something I do outside of working with Swift. Is I actually am training as a stage technician, and so really this role just encompasses everything inside the auditorium. If it's the projector, if it's the live stream, if it's the cameras, sound, lights, everything that's inside that theatre has at some point gone past me.
Nice.
Which is very scary. if anything goes wrong,
what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, exactly. Quite a lot, as it turns out.
Okay, I want to know more about that, but one funny thing, another part of the role is also telling people to get off the stage when it's time to, if the speaker is taking maybe 2 or 3 or 5 or 15 minutes too long.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately that never really happened. Oh, no, hang on. Yeah, Anna seems to not be able to keep track of time. Funny this. If you actually listen to the recording last year, you kind of just see that I'm giving Anna Messenger to get off stage, and she is not listening at all. Just does not care. We have a timetable schedule to keep to.
Yeah, because I mean, there was another conference you were at recently, Anna, wasn't there, that you were speaking at? And you were on time actually. Oh no, sorry, you weren't. You were way over time.
Oh my goodness. But the issue is that, like, everyone always says the biggest lie of public speaking is like, oh yeah, like on the actual day you'll be so much faster because you'll be nervous, you'll be speaking more. But they don't take into account the fact that you'll be saying more random crap off. Is that a bad word? More random. I don't know if I can beep it. More random stuff. Let's say that. Let's pretend I said stuff all along. Yeah, so you come up with more random stuff, and then all of a sudden there's James being like, did I dream, or were you actually like waving your arms at one point trying to get me to get off the stage?
Wasn't waving my arms, but we had an iPad with like coloured screens at the back of the theatre. That was kind of our way of signaling that. But it's thanks to Anna that we now have a new system where it's on stage. It will now flash different colours to make sure that you know how long you've got. And then Anna decided to not apply this year, so,
Yeah, I think that the issue, James, is probably not that she doesn't know. I think it's that she doesn't pay attention to it.
That's true. But this year, I can now actually just turn off the screen, so, if you want to play with fire, I now have the ultimate control.
You can always do what Chris at iOS Dev UK does when there's the lightning talks, which is like play the Looney Tunes theme tune, that's all folks, and just start walking onto the stage, clapping really slowly. And then you kind of have to leave at that point.
Yeah, at that point. Another alternative, James, is that you could jump on the stage and then do a nice Walker Texas Ranger roundhouse, those round kicks, just to escort someone kindly off stage. I think I'd realize if that was happening. I think that would wake me up.
It result to violence.
Yeah, pure violence. But no, anyway,
I think it's one of those ones like, yes. So timekeeping is important, right? I think we have a lot of ways to mitigate that. Obviously, if you go over by 5 or 10 minutes, a lot of the time we've got the Q&A sessions, but we kind of just cut them short. I think we've got a lot of little gaps built into the schedule for exactly people like Anna. We plan ahead for this stuff.
People like Anna. But so you're in charge of everything that happens inside the auditorium, and also on the YouTube channel, I guess, because everything that is audio and video, you're editing. Like, did I get it right that you edited all the videos yourself for the conference last year?
Yeah, so last year we had a separate videographer who was recording all the sessions, but they only had a camera shot of the stage, and so there was a lot of feedback that they couldn't really see the slides in the background. And really that's actually what a lot of people wanted to see. It's kind of the slides plus audio. Luckily, I had been recording all of the so last year was the first time we live streamed the event, and so we had that recording as well. And so in the end we kind of decided to re-edit the live stream, clip it up into all of the individual talks and upload that instead. It was kind of a bit of a mix and match there, because actually my audio was very bad for parts of it. So we actually had to use their audio with my video and do a bunch of kind of fixes with that. So it was a game.
Wow. That must have taken a long time as well. Did you do it for the year before as well? No, yeah, because there was videos. You didn't do the live stream, but there was videos recorded for the year before, but no video for the first season.
I was not involved in that one. That was the basic edition. And then last year we stepped it up a lot.
Cool. So when did you start volunteering at SwiftLeeds officially?
So I've been to every year of SwiftLeeds.
Nice.
The second year I kind of informally volunteered, which is to say that if people were there, they would realise that check-in was like up the stairs, around the block. It was like an hour long, and you could see that Adam was visually stressed by how long it was taking, and everything got delayed. So I jumped in then to kind of just help get people checked in. And then last year was the first time I was properly involved. So I did a whole ton of stuff on the website, kind of built all of the drop-in session stuff. And then, of course, the big one was the live stream and all that recording and editing and uploading and a lot more.
I've heard a rumour. Now, you may need to... we may have to cut this bit if Adam says it can't go out. But I've heard a rumour that there's a new check-in process this year.
Is there?
With some fancy new stuff.
Yeah, I mean, so this is not my area. So Matt looks after all that check-in. He took it as a personal challenge last year to never let that queue happen again. And by all means, we never had more than like 4 people in the queue last year, and it was brilliant.
Nice.
Without stealing his thunder, I think Matt is very excited in microelectronics, let's say. And let's say he's used his brilliant brain, and I don't think we can get any faster than last year because it was basically instant, but it will certainly be a lot more visual this year.
And this is for the
interesting.
For those that don't know, this is Matt Gallagher, and he's also been volunteering for. This is going to be his 3rd year, I think, definitely minimum, maybe even 4th. I have to say.
I can't remember. I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't the first year.
Yeah. He's Leeds based, I think, right?
Certainly not far.
There was a very funny event at iOS Dev UK where I think one of the speakers that English wasn't their first language, Matt asked him a question, but his accent is very Yorkshire. So I think unless you're used to English accents, like they were just not. They were. I understood it because I've been here for quite a while, and also I've always understood northern accents, sometimes even better than certain southern accents. But you could tell.
It's because you're also from the north, right?
I'm from Sheffield.
I mean, lots of countries have a north.
Just like, who knew the Italian was going to be the natural communicator?
You're from northern Italy, no?
Yes, I am from northern Italy. Anyways.
I mean, talking of the Italians, I think that was like the best thing about the live stream last year, right? Was being able to actually see people outside of the UK really enjoy the live stream. I think having your family getting access, that was absolutely huge. And so I think that really showed the value that came out of that.
Definitely. And I really have to thank you for that as well, because without that, my grandpa, he's like, I don't know, 100, he's not 100. He's like, he's in his late 80s. Like, he's not just going to take a plane and come to the UK to watch me speak. He would have never been able to see me speak ever, probably, because, in Italy I've spoken in Bologna, and that's still very far. So thanks to that, he was able to do that. And so how did you build the live stream situation? Like, how did you go about that?
How did we? I think last year was definitely, it was a challenge to kind of we didn't know how it was going to go. We hadn't done it before. I hadn't done it before. And so it was kind of a game of, we didn't want to alter the rest of the conference. we kind of wanted the live stream to be an add-on, and with that came complexities, right? And so one thing that you would have seen a lot last year was I was switching the live stream, but then Adam had to keep running off stage to switch the projector. And so we had to do some things in sync, otherwise it looked really janky on the stream. So actually, if you watch the recordings on YouTube as well, you can kind of see some of the times where our timings weren't the best. But yeah, so really we kind of had a bunch of signals coming from the stage up to where I was at the back of the theatre. I had sound coming from the sound desk, and we ran it through essentially a broadcast mixer. So we use a Blackmagic A10 Pro Extreme ISO. All of the words, it's like Apple name in here. And so then, that kind of takes in all the inputs, and we do a lot of clever stuff with it, and press stream, and it goes to YouTube, and hopefully it works. Obviously, we did a lot of tests, both on the day before and then kind of had to see how it went. By all means, we had issues. I think we had the audio issues where at the beginning it was kind of like you could hear some crackling and peaking, and it was rough, but we got that under wraps quite soon. And then towards the end of the day, we actually got kicked off YouTube by a copyright strike. So that was certainly a moment.
Oops.
Well, it wasn't actually our fault. And annoyingly, it was something that I kind of predicted would happen, but I forgot about it and I didn't deal with it on the day. Because you two will obviously know in the venue they have kind of music that plays through the breaks. That was getting sent to the stream, and that music is copyrighted. And so YouTube picked up on it, and they were like, no. And they kicked us off just as we came back from the afternoon break. So Adam's literally introducing the last kind of speakers, and we go offline, and I just shout to Adam, like, stall! Just like, give me a minute. And I think we get back online about 5 seconds after the speaker starts. So I'm like, just did it. Luckily, we had a local copy, so we didn't actually lose any footage. But yeah, it was a moment.
My gosh, was that the scariest thing that happened? Well, not scariest, but like the most nerve-inducing thing that happened on stage last year. Do you reckon?
Yeah, definitely. I think the rest of it, we'd done enough kind of testing beforehand. We knew everything was working. Obviously, we get into the theatre the day before, so we have hours to kind of test everything, make sure we can actually stream. And actually, between Matt, Adam, myself, and a few others, we kind of do like a mock talk for like 5 minutes and just test out a few systems. What we didn't realise is audio settings get reset every time we turn it off and on again. Learn that lesson. So yeah, I think we had enough confidence going in that everything else was fine, and this was the one kind of unexpected variable.
Is that why? So that must be why the talk show is happening then. If you get in the venue anyway, you might as well use it.
Well, actually, the schedule changed, right? So last year we were on a Monday, Tuesday, which actually meant we were going in on the Sunday.
Right.
Which is obviously difficult because actually the theatre isn't even open on a Sunday, so we have to get all of them in to support us because we can't go in without them. By them, I mean the actual venue team. That caused some issues, obviously, because if I ask you to work on a Sunday, you're not going to be the most up for that necessarily. This year we kind of pushed that back to the Tuesday, Wednesday for the main conference, and then we kind of like, well, what do you want to do on that Monday? Yeah, Adam had the idea of the talk show, and we figured it out.
Is the talk show in the same venue then, in the Playhouse?
So it's still at the Playhouse, but they've got multiple kind of theatres or rooms within that building. So we're kind of in one of their middle-sized rooms, which obviously fit about kind of 300, 400 people. They've actually got the Quarry, which can fit nearly 800, 900 people. So I was like, if we ever need to scale up much bigger, we have room. But they also have kind of a more kind of smaller and more intimate space. We're trying to use that and see what we do in that capacity. But we had many options actually, so we thought this was the best for what we wanted to do.
That is
So a possibility of a 2-track conference as well at some point.
We have a lot of options.
I tell you my opinion, even though no one asked. I tend to do this. I'm not a huge fan of 2 tracks. Sometimes I already struggle with normal decisions like what do I wear today or what do I eat. If I have to, if I'm like, which friend do I disappoint? Right? That's a bit of a harder, like, oh, sorry, I can't come to your talk because I've got to go to another one. It's usually like, yeah, it's hard for me. So based on
As a
this
speaker, it
alone,
can be annoying as well, right? Because there might be a talk that I really want to go to that's at the same time as my talk, and I can't not go to my talk. I don't have that choice.
Yeah, we've talked about this a lot, and all of these examples have been brought up, right? And I fully agree with them.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of why we have like drop-in sessions, and that's kind of like one aspect of a dual track, right? Which is you don't have to listen to the talk if you don't want to, but of course they're all recorded. So if you want to see them after the fact, you can.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think it'd be really cool to see like, you know, the 800 people venue filled at some point. But then I think on a practical level, how many arancini are there going to have to be to feed 800 people?
Oh, don't
How
worry.
many prawns?
Our team will get arancini. How many prawns? I mean, we definitely get the prawns out this year, right?
We're hoping. That's like why we're coming to this conference in the first place.
Anna's specifically hoping. I've never even had these prawns, I don't think.
Life-changing. Fished by James himself.
So interesting. One of the challenges this year, right, is just there's so many like logistical things that we have to deal with behind the scenes. That's one of the other aspects I'm trying to support Adam with. And one of those is the food and what menu do we have. And actually, they've actually got a new restaurant team within the venue this year. And so actually, we've kind of had to go back to the drawing board with them, kind of see like actually what do we want, what can they do with the new facilities and all the changes that they've made internally.
So you're actually more than a technical production lead. You also help with the menu. You help kick speakers off the stage when it's time to edit YouTube, participate in random podcasts.
Yeah, it really goes to that thing. Like we all kind of get involved where we can, where needed. Adam does a heck of a lot, and so if we can take some of that load off of him, then that's the right thing to do. You'll see on Twitter that it was 2 months ago that we were in the venue, and that's where we do a lot of the kind of, well, it wasn't 2 months, about a month ago. We do all the final kind of planning with them to make sure everything's ready to go. Even kind of like a week ago, we've got emails firing off with all of their team, getting the final quotes for all the tech, make sure that's all there. We've got new tech that we didn't have last year, which is really exciting. We'll see if that gets brought up in a minute, but yeah, there's a lot to it.
Is there anything that's like super critical to like the conference in general that possibly people have never even thought about or heard about?
My mentality to a lot of things in this industry in general is it's not the end of the world, right? Nothing's critical. It's just slides on a screen. Let's not overcomplicate this. And by all means, we're having fun with it and we're trying to increase the quality, and with that comes complexity. But I think at the end of it, all people want to see is slides and hear the speaker. And so, yeah, of course, I'm looking to my right because we've built out what I call the streaming box, which is a lot of money worth of technology in a flight case that, in theory, you just plug a camera in and some slides into, and it does everything for us. Is that needed? Is it critical? Yes, no. It's like, if that fails, can I still get everything that I need to do out of it? Yes. And so we have backup plans. But if it works, hopefully my job is a bit easier.
What changes have you made compared to last year in the streaming setup? Because you say you have this new expensive box of the streams. First of all, how much was it?
Everything in this box is about £3,000. Yeah, there's all the networking gear, all the switches. We have a kind of Elgato Stream Deck, which is basically just for our users. It's just a lot of buttons that we can press to trigger off a lot of sequences. One of the big changes that we're making this year is I am now fully integrated into the stage rather than just being an add-on to it. So that means I'm not just dealing with the live stream, I'm actually dealing with the projector, the comfort monitor, which is the screen that the speakers see on stage, and a bunch of other systems. One of the new things is that we've actually got 3 cameras this year, where last year we only had 1 camera. So that's going to bring in some new excitement. It was kind of partially inspired, Anna, by your little prank that you played last year. So actually, one of the cameras we have actually got this year is actually looking back at the audience.
Great.
So we can get some reaction shots.
Great.
Like this, Ollie.
Yes,
He's gonna,
yes, I got the picture.
he's gonna kill me.
The good news is, Anna, you're not speaking this year, are you? So,
Or is
I'm
she?
not, but
Ooh.
I mean, I'm not speaking. However, Oliver, we might still be around the stage just to chill. We might storm
around
it
the stage.
on the stage, maybe. Maybe we can storm the
With
stage.
some pawns? Pawns on stage?
Delivery service.
Imagine if we had like prawn-shaped confetti. We start throwing them on people, and then the venue hates us
Oh
because
god. Oh, cleanup's hard enough. Don't add more to it.
you do do the cleanup, or does the venue do the cleanup? Does the volunteers do it?
So everything that is ours, we need to get out of there. So, I mean, you saw me at the end of the conference last year, Anna. You came running back to say goodbye. It's like absolutely drenched in sweat because I've got so much gear that we have to pack up and get out of there. Obviously, the venue team can't leave until we're out. And so they're not pressurising us, but they're certainly eager for us to leave.
Yeah.
So there's definitely an aspect of, yes, get finished, get out, and no waiting around. But yeah, we had entertained kind of things like not necessarily confetti, but whether it's kind of pyrotechnics or anything like that, just to add some atmosphere.
So there's like around 12 volunteers, you're saying, official volunteers. Do you meet like all together every few, or do you just communicate on Slack and assign roles like fireside?
Yeah, no, we have a Slack channel, which is where we can all talk to each other. We do have one or two kind of throughout the year. We're talking here like meetings at the venue, so you'll see we really talk about that on Twitter. I think 4 of us were there this year, but no, for the most part, we don't really meet until we get to do the venue. Usually the day before, sometimes on the day. And we'll get there a few hours before everybody else does to make sure everything's ready.
Nice.
Most people don't have roles. If you go on the website, you'll see kind of the people who do have roles. Joe is usually the guy helping me with the cameras, and so I'm focused on everything else. Noam is usually doing all the social media, so keeping that active and hyping everything up. And yeah, Matt's doing check-in and all that kind of stuff. So kind of got some roles, but obviously we have people focusing on the drop-in sessions, make sure that they're kind of getting the support they need and make sure that people are in and out on time. And then really the others are kind of just like floating around, making sure that people have somebody to go to if there's any issues.
How does someone go about volunteering? If someone's like, would like to help out SwiftLeeds, first of all, why should they? Like in a cynical way, I obviously know why they should because it's a great conference. People want to help, but why should I? Like, what do they get out of it? What do you get out of this?
No, I mean, it's a great question, I think. It really depends, right? I mean, you get free access to the conference, so it's a great way to save a few bucks, and a lot of the times you can just watch the talks, but obviously there's stuff outside of that. What does volunteer mean to you, I suppose, right? I mean, all of the website, the mobile apps, all that's open source, so if you just want to contribute to those applications, you can, and that can be great for just learning the technology. Our team are great at kind of answering questions and supporting you through that, and myself included. So if you're just interested in that, then great. For me, I was interested in contributing to the live stream, getting that off the ground. Again, I wanted to learn more about doing state tech stuff, so this is a great way to get into that, right? I'm liaising with all the venue team, and it's a great foot in the door. So it's kind of a combination of, do you want to help out? Like, is that just something you wanted to do? Is there something is there like a real, like a great idea that you have that you kind of want to push forward within the conference? I think Adam's pretty good at giving you the space to explore that idea. If you think you've got a really brilliant idea about merch, perhaps, and you've got a great t-shirt design or maybe a hat design or something like that, and you want to kind of look after our merch for next year, then come and talk to us, right? And maybe that's something you could lead. Is there some great idea you have for sponsor engagement? Like, if you've got an idea, I think that's the best way to join in, right? Make that idea come to fruition.
That's awesome. Through this, I realized that actually we never specified, Oli, that we are also technically volunteering because we're not getting paid for this and we don't want to.
Yeah,
just...
it's true. It's true. No.
Why would you
we don't want to get paid, right?
Just hang out, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is just like we're all like-minded, right?
Exactly.
So are we 13 and 14? Who's 13 and who's 14?
If I get into numbers, I'll be like 10. No, that's just dreadful. Like mentally, I'm number one. Like,
I think Adam gets number one probably, unless we're indexing from zero. Adam could be person zero.
I don't know. I can turn his microphone off. So in terms of power.
That's true. Depends if we're going on order or power.
Great idea now.
I think the cool thing about like volunteering and helping out with SwiftLeeds is like it was always, to me at least, a very community driven conference. So when I talk to you folks about like, oh, you know, like we should do this podcast, like I never thought twice about it because I felt like I could contribute as a part of the conference, and I feel like everyone can do that as well. But if anyone's here like listening and they're wondering, they have one of these ideas and they want to help out, just, you know, don't worry, they don't bite.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is community led, right? I mean, do take the feedback that we send a questionnaire out after every event, and we take that very seriously. We spend a lot of time going through every single comment. We have like a huge Google document that we go through, like everything basically is added to that and kind of rated based on how many times it's mentioned. And we always try and listen to that. Speakers, right? We listen to our speakers all the time. They're basically volunteers. They're volunteering their time to, and they always come with ideas about how we can kind of make little tweaks here, there, and everywhere. Obviously, the talk show hosts, we had a meeting with them yesterday, and so that's kind of really listening to them about kind of what are they passionate about, what do we want the talk show to be about, and how we're going to get the audience engaged, which is going to be a key part of that. So it really is. Everybody has a voice, whether you're officially a volunteer and you have an event staff shirt, or whether you're just somebody who came.
Yeah, honestly, I'm going back to this, but the ability to live stream, it's going to help so many people that maybe couldn't come, right? Maybe they wanted to come, but they could never do it. And now they can, you know? So I think that is one of the fantastic things that I guess like the volunteers are doing. So there might be like a million other amazing things. Just, yeah.
I think that's my favourite thing about conferences just in general, right, is the ability to just share what we're working on, what we're doing, what we're interested in, and trying to get that out to as many people as possible. I think there's the great potentiality that there's people who are just getting started in this industry or are not quite sure about mobile development and want to learn more about it, and we're building that kind of resource for them. It's like Adam has a lot of stories about kind of getting kids involved and watching the talks and potentially coming to the conference itself, and I think that's great, and I think we should really support that and want to get it in their hands.
So, James, you know what's coming. What is your favourite breakfast?
I knew this was coming, and I feel like I've got the same answer as a lot of people. I don't have breakfast. I very rarely have breakfast. It's just not like it's the most important meal of the day. No, it ain't.
Lots of research sponsored by the Kellogg's Foundation, if I'm not much mistaken.
I wake up normally about 9:40, and I start work at 10. And that is, I'm basically at lunchtime at this point. It's like I've gone past breakfast.
Yeah.
If I had to have breakfast though, I can't say no to McDonald's McMuffin. I'm sorry. There's just something about them.
Is it sausage McMuffin, bacon McMuffin, or just the plain egg McMuffin though?
I mean, they've got the breakfast one, right, which is all free. So
is there? Oh, I didn't know that.
It's like the monster one with all the calories in. Hello.
I mean, after moving all them boxes, like I feel like, you know, it's guaranteed. Like it's granted. It should be granted. Because when I
that's the
saw
one
you
I'm worried
last
about this year, right?
I was worried. I was like, when I saw you last year, I was like, oh my god, what has James been doing? Bless him. You looked so tired as well.
It's one of those ones, right, is we don't get much sleep. Well, I don't get much sleep. I think once at the end of day one, right, is I go back to my hotel room and I've still got work to do to get all of the footage downloaded and do some sorting and get a lot of things ready for day two. We have a lot of kind of graphics that have to be edited and sorted and questions compiled off of Slido. I don't go home and rest. So yeah. I mean, it's also a team effort. Noam is constantly bringing me food and drink throughout the day. That's kind of like his like secondary role is to feed me, and I love him for that.
That's really nice. Well, dear listeners, if you want to bribe James, or just if you are a nice person and you want to cheer him up during the day, bring him
I mean, it's going to be scary now. I should have like a train of food coming through the theatre to my stage desk.
We must provide offerings. But yeah, James, thank you so much for joining us in our shenanigans, and thank you for all the work that you do as well. You and the rest of the volunteering team. Yeah, we love the conference, and we always have such an amazing experience, and it's thanks to all of you. So yeah, thank you so much, and
No worries.
see you in Leeds.
Yeah.
Very soon.
See you in a few weeks. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, actually, when we publish
Yeah.
this, based on the schedule of the publishing, it'll literally be like, see you in a week, see you in a few days, technically.
We definitely are not pre-recording this like a month in advance.
This is done like on the set, 8 a.m. Well, so yeah, thank you so much, James. And Ollie, please see us off with a ChatGPT generated.
Yeah, well, our time may be up, but your swift journey is still simmering, just like those prawns from the speaker's dinner.
Brilliant.
Oh
no.
And I'll leave it at that.
That is perfect. That is perfection.
probably best.
And yeah, see you in a few days. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.